What is going on, you guys? A21 Mayo here, and in today's video, I'm going to be putting a little spin on the VOD review series that I usually do. So as you can probably tell by the title and thumbnail, I'm actually going to be VOD reviewing Pengu's champion rank game. I thought this would be a good idea since I can give some insight on what a good player is doing and why they're doing it. And let me just say this now, no, flat out, I do not think that I'm better than Pengu. He is arguably the most decorated Siege player of all time, and if not the most decorated Siege player of all time. I just thought it would be a fun video to kind of give this information out and kind of explain the thought process of, you know, a two-time world champion and an extremely good player. Now, if this is something that you guys would like to see me do with other content creators or pro league players like Shaiiko, Beaulo, Spoit, whoever you want to see, let me know by leaving a like and maybe even a comment on who you would like to see me VOD review next in this style. But with that being said, let's jump into the video. So funny enough, I'm pretty sure that this account is actually like a recruit champion account, like recruit only champion account. And he actually does hit champion this game as well. So yeah, that's kind of funny.
Oh, they have a crouch rotate. What the
Yep,
fuck?
that they do. Did I map the wall?
Yo, burn for top main. I can walk in and get a kill.
I can burn now. Trying. Burn one ideas. Burn two. No, burn all three. I'm holding your swing close right.
Okay, so this is really good. So, one thing that you saw him do there was throw a flash, listen for audio cue of ADS catching the flash, and then throwing another one and then another one. And then this was a comm off of his teammate, so the Finka naded after all three ADSs were burned, so the only other utility that could catch the nade would be a my disc, which it didn't get caught. So the nade from the Finka pushes the top main stairs player back, so that way the Finka can establish a window of opportunity for her to go in and go prone as she did and look through the little crouch hole here into control room, which, you know, pretty much worked out perfectly, as you can see here. So burns all three ADSs, and while the Finka goes in, gets this kill, she's leaving, you can see Pengu holding the top main swing because he's supporting that angle. If there's only two angles to watch here, which is top main, which is what he's holding, and then you have the crouch rotate hole, which is what the Finka is watching, and there's nothing else for there's nothing else that the defenders can use as an opportunity to swing off of. So both angles are covered. Great support here by, you know, Nick Pengu, just by understanding that, hey, he's going to be fighting through this crouch hole here, so I'm going to be looking top main for his swing and potential refrag.
Swing close right. Nice. Gonna map the wall, my guy?
So now that they got a really early pick like that, you know, getting a pick in the first minute of the round as an attacker and now two picks is extremely beneficial. So what you'll most likely see happen here is everyone kind of slow down a little bit. The overall tempo of the attackers can slow down just because they have such an advantage on not only man count but also utility as well. If, you know, like these two defenders were two defenders that had like nitro cells for default plant, or, you know, one was smoke or something like that, like that's a lot of utility that you gained also with the two early picks. And, you know, Nick is now calling, I'm gonna refer to Pengu as Nick or Pengu, just, you know, whatever I call him, but Nick is calling for Mav to Mav trick the wall. Now this is a really common thing to see. This is why Maverick is one of the strongest attackers and operators in the game overall, is because he can counter, or he has no counter in terms of Mav tricking a wall soft. So if you draw two lines here, the wall goes soft, then you can have most likely the Jackal here with the shotgun shoot the soft wall out and then give you access to the bomb site.
I'm hopping in red window or green window. No one top green. I'm walking in server.
So this is really good comms here. So he's calling, you know, jumping in here, going here. This Finka is, I'm assuming, just based off how, you know, her icon's moving. And now that he's in server, this is something that you can match tempo with. So if I kind of draw a blueprint here of Canal, so if this is Canal here, This is red stairs where the drone's at. So let's say the drone is here on this X that I just drew, and this finca is over here in server. So if you know that I'm going to box this area off here, right? This is server. I'm just going to do an S for server. If you know that that area is clear, then you want to match that with information so that way you can sector off the map. So you can apply this to both attack and defense, but cutting the pie and then eating a slice by slice by slice is a lot easier than eating the whole pie at once, right? So kind of apply that same concept to gaining map control. So if you understand that, okay, where this fink is at in server is completely clear, I'm going to match that on the other side of the map and, you know, areas where I think a defender might be by droning and getting information, which is exactly what Pengu's doing here, where he's checking, you know, top red with his drone down, which we'll see in a moment if someone's there or not. And then if that's clear, then he knows, okay, this hallway is clear directly in front of him, where you're seeing with the drone. So now his next area of threat is the crouch hole behind him, and then this door here as well. So he's droning this area so that way he knows if there's someone playing red, a defender, then, you know, that person could potentially go up the hallway, which the jackal would then be responsible for. Okay, yeah, so that's a huge call as well. So that changes a lot how you're going to take a gunfight. Jaeger, if you heard the call there, something along the lines of Jaeger, main stairs, shotgun. So that changes everything about how you approach a gunfight like that. So if let's say it's a 1v1 and you know it's the Jaeger, you're obviously going to take the range to your advantage because you know that he has the shotgun and the only other option that he has for a long range gunfight is a pistol. So you're automatically at an advantage if you can take the advantage of the length of, you know, how far away the gunfight is. So that's something that you want to keep in the back of your mind if you know that you're going to be fighting the Jaeger or you are actively fighting the Jaeger. You want to take that distance and take as much distance as you can from him.
No, yes.
I can triple flat.
He might not actually.
Server in Skybridge.
I just need
Skybridge, yeah? Like Newbridge?
Yep.
Nice.
Okay, so that was like
he needed some
a pretty generic round. To be honest, like if you saw one thing there that Nick did is he didn't jump the gun on matching his team's tempo because he knew that his team were in very prime positions as attackers very early on, like in the bomb site, you know, with like a minute and 45 left on the clock. So he wants to give the information so that way his teammates that are in the bomb site can then react off of it instead of him just getting bloodthirsty and wanting kills and wanting to, you know, get into the bomb site too and get into the action, so to speak, and just kind of jump the gun. He kind of took his time and still allowed his teams to, you know, do their job of being in the bomb site, but he also did his job of giving information so that way his teammates can play off of it and kind of utilize that information to the best of their abilities. And then
next time, bro.
once all the information was given about where the last two defenders were, the Capcan died shortly after, and then, as you saw, Pengu pretty much took advantage of the information and tried to walk into the bomb site and, you know, take the gunfights because everyone else is going to be going for the gunfight most likely, since the information is so fresh and accurate.
Oh my god, they're back up. They have an intricate shield set up.
Intricate. Am I using recruit? It's like my recruit champion account. I want to see what getting champion on recruit was like, so I did it.
I just got a hit marker on a default cam.
You know you're so good at a video game
That cam was going.
when you put yourself at a disadvantage and still get champion or the highest level or, you know, accolade that you can in the game. Like that's some boss shit right there, right? Like people struggle getting to like plat 3, you know? And here's Pengu just playing on a champion account, just kind of memeing, not really caring, you know, still trying a little bit, but just putting himself at a disadvantage and still getting it. Why does it keep on full screen when I'm trying to play it? Yo, Nick, by the way, I don't know why you got this on, but like the little blur effect, like what is it, depth of field when you ADS, is making me nauseous and it looks ugly, okay? I'm gonna need you to turn that off. I'm just joking, man.
Oh my god. What
You
the
play
fuck
with
is
whatever
that?
you need, alright?
I'm about to get off.
Oh my god, slime ball.
Wait, what? I thought I hit his head, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so here, okay, like, we're just gonna chalk this up to, okay, I'm gonna assume that I'm going to be correct on this, but Nick saw his teammate, the Finka, get absolutely mollywopped from the green window there. So, since he has the barricade open, he doesn't need to notify the Jaeger that he's there necessarily, even though he did just shoot through it. But, you know, like, smacking a window or shooting it open is a lot more fresh information than shooting it open and then swinging into the Jaeger, if that makes any sense. But pretty much what Pengu's trying to do here is just refrag. And unfortunately, he missed. It happens to the best of it. It happens to everyone. You know, you miss shots. It's that simple. Do I wish Nick did something better here? Not really, because the information is so fresh, and you know, the refrag potential was definitely there, and you also have Jackal on the same window that the Finka was on. So if Nick dies, there's still the chance for a reverse refrag, if that makes sense, or a double refrag. I don't know how you would refrag the refragger who tried to refrag the first kill. Yeah, I think so. Something like that. But yeah, you know, it's just chalks up to missing shots. And that's about it.
What is he got me? What? Okay, Jaeger's on Merc. Yeah, I'm gonna shotgun you.
Okay.
I would like to see Nick maybe calling for the drone from the Mav and getting information off of that. That's like in a perfect world. Like, that's me nitpicking, to be honest with you. And maybe trying to communicate what... actually, no, because I think the Jackal and Mav are doing a good job at communicating with one another. So that's, again, me nitpicking. Just very, very minute stuff. But the Mav does have a drone. So maybe he could use it, like, in a situation like this here. You know, unless someone just said they don't have a drone, so maybe it's bugged. The UI is bugged. I'm not sure, but this Mav could use a drone. There's 3 dead people, and you know, they could use that drone for information on a different angle, so that way the Jackal and the Mav can kind of play a little bit tighter, and you know, just the more information in a situation like this, or any situation, is just better. You know what I mean? So that's what I would like to see.
I gotta drone it. Start shooting it down. I'll tell you when to call. There's a fucking shield right in our face. Alright, call.
That was white.
It was clear. That was a guy first level. I'm droning that out.
I don't know if Nick realized, but that was a cap can. So so the cap can shot at him. I was actually a little worried about that too, because sometimes defenders do go top white stairs and look underneath the barricade there, like they did, to shoot toesies off. So pretty much exactly what happened. But yeah, that was a cap can there. Maybe it might have been a Tachanka. Yeah, I would have liked to seen him be a little bit more cautious on entering there, because with the new cap can update, like, he could die trying to walk in there. So just a little piece there.
Trace.
Droning lobby. In lobby behind the desk. Oh no, I got. He's hiding lobby behind the desk. This is a free kill here potentially. Okay, wait. Jaeger's like
He's
still hiding behind the desk.
Yeah, I'm pushing.
Droning him.
Is lockets clear?
He's just talking.
Yeah, so it was a
Yeah,
cap can,
yeah,
exactly.
Walking backwards.
Watch
Wow.
jump in.
That is so unfortunate. His team did not do a good job at clearing this cap can. I don't know what they were doing. I think they were trying to do like something scuba side, like jump in the window. Something along those lines, like Lion and Nook, I believe. And then they eventually kill the cap can here, but like that was a free kill. I think, you know, this isn't Nick's fault, but I just, in general, like, I think the team could have done a better job at clearing this cap can out. But I think they were already too committed to whatever they were doing. Wherever they were.
He could flank Gold Bridge.
Yeah, he could.
Yep, no cam on yellow.
So what Nick is doing here is pretty common. He's just looking for a pick. Like, this is a skill set that's very, very important in Siege, just because it's so much about a numbers game. that you need to have the ability to work picks when you need the picks. You could argue right now that his team doesn't really need a pick, but a 2v3, when you have to drop a hatch, walk down staircases, or walk through doorways or windows, like, it's going to be a little difficult. So you kind of want to fish out 1v1s when you can. So he's just, kind of actively looking for a pick, maybe trying to get some information in the meantime as well, just to kind of understand how to dissect the, problems and situations in front of him. So he's burning for the Malusi, I'm assuming.
My last cam has
I got old bridge.
And if he wasn't burning for the Malusi, then he threw a flash to mask the sound of him getting on drone here. Because if you guys don't know, when you get on cams or off cams, there's two unique audio cues. So getting on cam sounds like one thing, and then getting off of your cam sounds like another. So he could potentially be masking the sound, because if you hear if you're in the radius of a flashbang, it will make your ears ring as you heard. But I'm going to go into the assumption that he was doing that for the purpose of seeing if there was an ADS there, or my to nade the Malusi after he drones. So since he did not encounter an ADS or my magnet there, then
Only other places.
then he didn't need to throw his nade directly after. As you saw there, he set a flank cam for Old Bridge and Mainstairs walk up, and now he's doing vertical play. Now the thing to note here is just looking at the defender's composition. So it's a Jaeger, so the only option you have is barb or bulletproof, so no nitro. You have the Malusi, which is a bulletproof cam or impacts, and then you have the Warden, which is a shield or nitro. So there's max potential of one nitro to be used here. So if there were to be a nitro on the board, there can only be one used, so that's something to always look out for as an attacker when you're doing vertical play, or a situation where a nitro cell might be a huge detriment to the team. Counting nitro cells and figuring out, okay, they have a bandit, they have a smoke, and they have a Jaeger. So I know that they only have a max of one nitro cell currently. That's a very, very important thing to pay attention to, and a very small detail that could determine the outcome of rounds.
No.
Keep getting the reload button this guy.
So 50 seconds left. Nick's just doing very, very basic vertical play. It looks like he doesn't really intend on utilizing them all too much. The Habana is currently using some, I believe. But one thing with this is a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot, but some people may do something, or a teammate may do something, and they think that they need to utilize that. So a great example for this is just establishment of angles, right? So if you open vertical play, it's not necessarily that you need to play off of the holes that you're making. It's more or less a factor of making or putting the defenders in a position where they have to worry about more, which will increase stress levels, and then also in turn increase chances of making a mistake, right? Because if you're more stressed out, you're less focused, and the more of a chance you have of potentially making a mistake, which then you as the attacker can punish the defender for making said mistake. Does that make sense? So it's a little bit of a domino effect, and indirectly putting yourself in a better position, and that's just a hypothetical for what might happen. He may go back and double back on his steps and start doing vertical play, which it looks like he is doing. So this is something else that I talk about a lot in my videos, is doing your job before putting yourself in a position to die. So one thing that a lot of vertical players do is they open 1, 2, 3 holes and then start playing off of the vertical play. What you need to be doing is doing your job of a vertical player, like a sledge or a buck, just like a hard breacher, right? As a hard breacher, you need to breach first, and then you become, that person who can refrag, someone else. Like, use your utility first and do your job before you put yourself in a position where you're much more likely to die. So as a sledge, as a buck, do your vertical play first. So that way, if you do die, even though your job is done, a teammate can then fill your position, and there's no more holes that need to be made because you've already made them. Does that make sense?
Or wait, this hatch too.
Yeah, they're hiding from the bird.
I'm not too sure what those flashes were, to be honest with you. Maybe just feeling for ADSs, because he does have the nades. And then he throws nades here. He pretty much throws dead nades, and what a dead nade is an uncooked grenade, or some people call it a COD nade too. It's just an uncooked nade to kind of shuffle someone around, so that way they have to be moving while you might, you know, try to execute the bomb site, which is what's happening here. My only real takeaway and gripe that I would say for this here is that maybe Nick is trying to take too much on at once, and he's also not communicating what he's doing here. Like he didn't communicate, hey, I'm gonna nade and drop hatch or whatever it might be, and it might have been like a spur of the moment, you know, decision, which happens to everyone. And again, I'm not trying to say that I'm better than Pengu or anything. Like, I want to make that abundantly clear. Just little things that I see that I would, you know, think would be just a little bit better, because in a situation like this here, where the Hibana is now somewhere near main stairs based off the briefcase symbol of her carrying the diffuser, it seems like she's on main stairs. Maybe they could establish some sort of crossfire in some sense, or the Hibana could cut off some sort of rotations for Nick, so that way he doesn't have to worry about the hallway door here, for example, so he can, you know, be more sight oriented with his focus, you know, to the left, and, you know, the closet here to the right as well.
I drop. I don't think they know.
One more thing that I didn't mention is he used the nades for audio cues. So similar to what I mentioned earlier about using the flash to get on drones and you don't hear the audio cue of you getting on your phone, he used the nades as an as an opportunity to mask the audio cue of him dropping the hatch. So very, very minute detail there. So they know where both are at, actually. So unless, let's see who he was fighting here initially. That, okay, so I don't know if that was who Nick was shooting at there, but he knows where one of the two defenders are at. Warden, which has the MPXs behind him, either like, sounds like trench or bathroom. I'm gonna assume bathroom.
Yeah, above. Can you plant?
Shield. Down the shield. Shield.
So I don't know where the shield is, but trench I know where it is.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's fine.
okay, so this is actually a huge misplay here then. So if the Malusi, or sorry, if the Hibana, this is how crazy stuff in Siege can get down to by one call being missed. And the call that was missed here is where Jaeger died. So now that we know in hindsight what happened here, we know that this is Malusi that Nick is currently engaging in a gunfight with, and we know that Warden is Trench. So okay, so the Hibana kills Jaeger and says that's Jaeger, and actively we know that Warden is Trench currently based off audio cues of the MPX being shot as of right now. So if the Hibana calls out here, that's Jaeger in X position, we don't know where he died, that will give you a process of elimination that, hey, this person that Nick was just shooting at this doorway here was Malusi. So that now tells you, I know exactly where both defenders are at. Now the Hibana and I can communicate and understand which gunfight we want to take on which defender. Personally, I would probably go for the Malusi because the Warden is stuck in a position where he's Trench, if the Hibana also communicated that to Nick. And you could say the same thing about Nick going to help the Hibana by, you know, fighting the Warden, because the Hibana does have to cross down main stairs, so that would probably be the better gunfight now that I think about it, for these two to take, because the Hibana has diffuser, and unless they both agree to go for the kill on the Malusi after killing the Warden, then killing the Warden in the first place would just overall be better for the option of going for kill on the Malusi for winning the round, or playing diffuser. But yeah, that one missed call of where did this Jaeger die changes everything about how this round played out. And also the missed call of the Trench shield as well. You know, we're only based off audio cue, which Nick knows where this warden's at, because I know that he knows audio cues of guns and things like that. Like he has thousands and thousands of hours, you know, played in the game, so he can tell positions based off audio cues and what guns are where.
Can you plant with me?
1 HP above.
Yeah, above. Can you plant?
So
Shield.
call there above.
Shield.
So I don't know where the shield is, but Trench I know where it is. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, this is also terrible audio. Whoa, hold on. Let's not skip over this, okay? Let's not skip over this. This is crazy. So audio is very bad in Siege, but
Can you plant?
listen to audio cue here. So if you guys don't know, the way you can tell someone is above you, below you, or right next to you is the weight of their footsteps. So if someone is extremely loud and bassy, they're above you. So that's exactly what we heard here with Sight.
Can you plant with me?
So right there, you heard shuffles of someone upstairs, the weight being carried through their footsteps upstairs. And they both acknowledge last one's upstairs because based off audio cue.
Yeah, above. Can you plant?
Shield.
So we just got misinformation of audio cue, which changes a lot too. Unless it maybe could be the last 15 seconds, you know, music. That's a potential. But I've had this happen to me before where the music wasn't playing as well, where I thought someone was above me when they weren't, and it led me to losing gunfights and rounds. Like, it's happened to me numerous times, like too many times for me to admit. So I know the pain here, and I don't think that was really acknowledged just because of the miscall here that took precedent.
Trench I know where it is. It's just ping is bad.
That's good then.
Just the distance, the server's so high.
Pretty basic shield. Like, to be honest, like, this shield is just for, you know,
Ping is bad.
the holes here that were made just a moment ago.
Distance, the server's
And then breach as well. So it's kind of multi-purpose shield, and then, you know, I call it yacht door, but the red door here that leads to top red stairs. So kind of like three-way multi-purpose shield.
I don't think Radan has a cheese. He does. He does have a cheese. You can kill Radan
T-Bird is
in
really
2
for any
attacks
stack
if you
that's
use
not
the Dragon Rod. You use Dragon
Like,
Rod,
if you have
and it
play
basically
Puck
stays
Tech
on
or
the
T-Bird,
entire
I promise
fight,
you they'll be a 4 times
and you
better
just
than
gotta
they
apply it once in each phase,
I
and then you
swear
just
to
run
God
around in
that shit's
circles
so
until he dies. He dies in like a couple minutes.
You have someone like TPA
He'll
just like
forever
running
just take
around,
damage
get
when you use
like
Dooku's
2
attacks.
kills, 1 shot, come back.
You can
100 health.
cheese every boss in
Bro,
the
if I needed someone to
Ultimate.
run around and get kills, it would not be TPA.
Okay, well, this is an example.
Huge skill set here, so kind of map knowledge based, but if you kind of look around and read Nick's body language while he's running around, like, he's talking to chat, but he's also listening for drones and things like that. I do the same thing. A lot of, you know, high level players do it. It's just kind of, it's funny. It's like something you learn in comp, but you can also force yourself to learn in ranked. But it's called drone hunting, and, you know, drone economy isn't stressed enough in ranked, and it's stressed a lot in competitive play because people actually utilize drones in comp. So yeah, this is a skill set that a lot of people need to learn how to utilize as defenders. So like you see here, like he's just ran past 2 drone holes. So there's a drone hole upstairs next to printer window, drone hole here. You know, I do believe he checks the hallway here, so he does check the hallway for any passing drones that may be crossing, you know, and down the hallway as well from reception. So you're going to these hotspot areas where drone holes would be, where, you know, barricades are that they can slip under, entry points where drones could be coming through, and you're kind of checking those hotspot areas when you have the free time in prep phase, as Nick does here. So he also checks these 2 drone holes, which are common areas for drones to come into, and also a common area for kind of more ranked players to come in through. They like to come through scuba here, walk up the blue or the yellow stairs to the left of Nick here, and then walk up blue stairs into printer where Nick just was a moment ago. So he's doing the same thing here, drone hunting, pretty much. Very, very important skill set to utilize.
How do I even
If you have extra time in prep phase, go drone hunting. It'll help out a lot. Over time, and also, you know, that one drone or that one drone you don't shoot could be the difference of a round. Is what I'm meaning to say. So there, you know, the same thing that we saw the Capcan do a few rounds ago when Nick was attacking from top white stairs, which is where he currently is. He's sitting here, and you heard the Nomad get placed. Now Nick can play around with that since he does have 2 impacts. Probably something you want to do a little bit later in the round, just because, you know, there's so many attackers probably over in that area, and you don't really want to be off the bomb site this far unless you need to and kind of alleviate some pressure, or you can afford to not have everyone on the bomb site, which they currently cannot, because the Maverick here did get an early pick onto the
And you're spawn
Thunderbird.
peeking.
Nah, don't talk to me.
I think Nick is hearing someone. Okay, no, he's hearing the people
He's
above
outside
him.
your green door.
Okay.
Am I? Shot cam.
So you hear the air jab there.
Red
You
window.
also heard it get placed as well, which is
Air
what
jab there.
made him initially
down.
move. So you
Oh,
see, look at the way that he's pre-firing here. So this is a very, very small thing as well. You see that his pre-fire level is higher than what he can visually see, which is this little sliver. And some of you may understand this, just common sense, pretty self-explanatory. But you don't want to be looking in this little, you know, rectangular area with your crosshair where your bullets are going to be landing. Instead, you can kind of get the information at the bottom and then place your crosshair, you know, a little bit further up, so that way you're hitting more limbs, you're hitting more torso, so that way you're dealing more damage, or potentially getting a headshot depending on how far away the enemy actually is. So you're getting the information on the lower, you know, 10% of your optic housing, but you're putting your reticle just high enough to the point where you can still see and gather the information and the movement pattern, and then shooting higher up in more center mass areas, so that way it deals more damage. And that applies to, you know, whatever situation it can be applied to, usually in points of elevation, or you know, points where you're lower than where you're going to be shooting. Just depends on the angle, really.
On Skybridge. Yeah, I have
Well, that's
nothing for
armor
Skybridge.
on the bridge.
Crouch walk Skybridge.
It's out-
Oh.
it's outside.
So you see here,
Way up main, I'm alone for now.
Enemy Skybridge.
Nick calls coming up main, so that's really important. If you're a roamer, calling you know, where you're going to be coming from, so that way your teammate can position around you a little bit and fill more areas of the bomb site than, you know, if you were both stacked up on one another, that, you know, one of you could be in a different position, and that's a different body in a different position, so that way you're filling more as a team overall. And this is just really unfortunate. Like, the defense pretty much threw away bodies since,
Probably
you
2
know,
people.
the first 15 seconds of the round,
No, it's just one.
and now it's more of like a retake than anything
yeah, it is
for
just Skybridge.
defense.
One guy bought the breach.
So call on audio there.
New breach. Oh, in breach
Ooh,
and new
that's
breach.
unfortunate.
Oh, what was that timing? He actually. Oh, they walked
got
new breach
blitzed.
over them.
No, we
Navy breach.
Of course. He hosts the idea.
Yo, Tris.
Yo, my bad, Pam. They breach A stuff.
I'm just right behind you, looking at the back of your head. They're shooting my punch hole. Right side breach.
Red window.
On
Right.
red.
Repelled on breach. Got your shield.
Rapping window to side.
Oh, red window.
Red window, yeah. Could go green.
Nomad dead on the
That's
window.
Matt.
That's a really good play there.
That was red window.
Okay, so let's dissect this a little bit. So what we know is that there was someone printer window far, and we know that someone was on top of the far bridge to the left, you know, kind of looking over the map outside, and open this double window here. So Nick made the play here based off audio cue. If I can find the moment where,
Could go green.
you know, we hear this guy get on rappel, which is right there. So you hear like the little snatch of the metal, I guess you could say. You know, just the audio cue of someone getting on rappel, and then,
Red window, yeah.
you know, once the person commits to the rappel, you can hear them shuffling around on the window itself. Nick feels out printer. He sprints across, and you know, kills the nomad here. Now let's pay attention to this drone here. So if we notice where this drone came from, it came up the stairs. So that's a huge piece of information that might tell you that, hey, someone might be coming from this area, you know, because they might have thrown the drone down, or they might have pre-placed it earlier in the round. And now that it came from that direction compared to the other directions that it came from, someone might be coming from that area. Which, again, you hear the goo pop there just a moment ago.
Skybridge, stairs, and window, both.
Oh my god.
Two guys
These guys are
Skybridge,
rats.
Wait.
Oh, there's only
So
two guys
that's-
left. We traded them somewhere.
Wait.
What's Skybridge? Skybridge stairs.
Skybridge, stairs, and window, both.
Oh no, they traded, okay. Yeah, so last two are Skybridge then. Yeah, that's unfortunate, to be honest. Because Nick was in a position where he heard this guy trip the goo on blue. Printer stairs here, lower stairs. So he knows that he's like very close. So he's just pretty much proning, ratting, and holding angle because he can't really, like, he doesn't want to get timinged on getting up from being prone and like on ADS and all that nonsense.
Two guys Skybridge. One breach, two Skybridge.
So there's not much really, you know,
Oh, there's only two
that
guys
could be
left.
done
We
there.
traded them somewhere.
Oh,
Up.
I can
Skybridge,
call
watching
breach if he
breach,
goes in. It's a vault hole.
So calling out where he can see and cannot see,
Yeah,
is huge.
Pillbox, coming server.
So when you call stuff like that, it should register to your team. Hey, Nick has this area. Hey, Mayo has this area. Whoever it is, right, in the situation, they have information. So we don't need to put a gun on that. We can put on a gun on a cross or an angle that we don't have information on. And you know, now that Nick called that he has information on an area, it's now his responsibility to say if he doesn't have information on that area anymore, because now his teammates should be trusting him to give and feed information on that area. Do you see how that becomes his double-edged responsibility, so to speak?
Rotate. Coming main stairs. So both Skybridge then, both Skybridge. But one of them could rotate breach. I have a yoke on it.
Play on for contact, I doubt.
Yep.
you can play in pillbox and play for the breach rotate.
I see your breach. I see it. Do not worry about the breach. One coming breach. So one breach, one sky.
So recalling information, so just reinforcing the information just in case anyone might have missed it. Just an overall update. Really good to utilize moments like this, especially when comms aren't too cluttered and you have that moment of opportunity as a dead person. You just kind of refresh everyone that is alive. Hey, this is where everyone's at. You know, and to add on to that as well, you could call out, hey, Fink is here, Ayana's here. Just to kind of understand positioning a little bit more. So let's say Echo might kill the Ayana here in a moment, whoever. Let's just say Ayana's breach, right? Then, you know, Ayana dead, breach. So everyone knows last person is Skybridge, which would be the Finka.
Vault hole in for the breach is a bad one for him.
So another huge piece of information, a very small piece of information, but a huge piece of information for everyone to understand. So let's just say the shit hits the fan. You know, this round goes from a 3v2 to a 1v1 and the last person's outside breach. Vaulting through something has a very specific audio cue. So if the yokai gets shot, no more audio or no more information can be given, and it's the Echo versus the Ayana on the breach. All the Echo has to do by that point is just listen for vault hole or vault audio cue, and then that's when he knows to swing, right? Does that make sense? So a lot of this stuff is, it might seem like it doesn't mean anything, but it means a lot if you know how to use it to your advantage.
He's close on breach now. Just peeking the holes. Flashing?
side.
Or nading, rather. Jumping in.
Top 10.
In breach now. I'm gonna spot him, he might jump out. In the box
Rappel.
still.
Watch Skybridge. I'm watching like the walking kind of.
Yep. He's still in breach. He's just making his way through. Walked in breach. He's the injured. 1v2.
She's down.
Last guy's a push you from
So
the sky.
1v2, calling that out. The mute did die to the Iona there. Maybe the Echo or the Jaeger didn't realize that, or both didn't. So 1v2, calling that out. Iona injured 1v2 is really, really crucial information as well. That also tells the Echo and Jaeger where the last person is at, or it tells the Echo and the Jaeger where they should be expecting the last person, so to speak, because of the previous information that was given on positions.
Has to plan.
Yeah, we don't got to swing here. Nice.
No, Finker's, yeah, she's around. She's behind the black box right now.
You're getting pushed upstairs.
Museum right
White
now.
stairs down.
Wait,
He just-
once I put your box. Stop it, right now, Jacob. He's clearing Skybridge.
Sound white,
Crouch
top white.
walking behind him.
One guy's top server.
Yeah, he's gonna go Skybridge.
Reception.
Yeah, for sure.
Flanking him.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Jacko's back down Skybridge stairs now.
Yeah.
I'm being jackal tracked.
Perfect.
Ace dead.
Nice.
Oh, jackal bottom blue stairs.
I know,
Vinny.
Office dead.
On his ass. I'm on Jackal's ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna come with
Ace
you.
dead. I don't think they can get hatch. White stairs.
Maybe main.
Southpaw.
Yeah, maybe. We have yellow. Don't worry about yellow.
Okay.
Jackal and white. I have cam.
Hip dead.
Hatch is open.
So here,
The last two.
so what's happening here is you're seeing like kind of a duo roam, which is common, especially when you can afford it. So Malusi and Pengu here were both on the other side of the map, and they flanked. And what you're probably going to see Nick do is probably try to refrag the Malusi that just died, because they don't know that he's here as of right now, and he has the potential to refrag the Malusi that was just killed by the Jackal.
Hey, nah,
Oh my
Jim,
God.
Jim. Last one, Jim.
It's jackal.
20 also.
Yeah,
Nice.
so just played off audio there.
With the roam game, dude. Ooh.
Love to see it.
Yeah, we hit him.
So
The
yeah,
30.
just pretty much just like utilizing areas of the map where you can still play, but then if you need to, you can fall back to the bomb site just because you have the option to. Just what he was doing there was either trying to refrag or waste time, shoot drones, whatever it might be. So that way it just makes the attackers' jobs a little bit harder. That is going to be everything for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed this different kind of style of the VOD review series, let me know by leaving a like on this video. It greatly helps out the video perform better and also lets me know what kind of content you guys would like to see. Let me know what other content creators or pro league players I should VOD review next. And also in the description, there's links to all of my social media as well as my coaching service. So if you guys are interested in a VOD review session like this one here with me live in a Discord call, I have different tiers and packages on my coaching service on my Patreon. And yes, I do coach console players. My coaching starts at $7 a month, so make sure you guys go check that out if you are interested. But with all of that being said, hope you guys enjoyed, hope you learned something new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.